welcome. I'm Jesse Register, Director of Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you today, here today on behalf of our Board of Education, District, West End Middle School faculty, Principal Jeff Keith, to a very special roundtable discussion. In the few months since he's been in office, Governor Bill Haslam has already made it clear that improving the achievement of Tennessee students in schools is a priority for his administration. He's building on the work that allowed Tennessee to be among the first recipients of the Race to the Top grants, and has spearheaded major changes in education laws and policies in Tennessee. Governor and Ms. Haslam have visited several metropolitan Nashville public schools since his inauguration in January, and it is now my honor to turn the program over to Governor Haslam, who will introduce the distinguished panel this morning. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Register. Thank you all for being here. It's no secret I love the job that I get to do, and there's several reasons for that. One is I think it's a great chance to make an impact, but maybe the part of my job that excites me the most is what is happening in education in Tennessee right now. You know, when you become governor, you don't start at a starting line. It's more like a relay race. You get handed a baton from stuff that's happened to you before, and quite frankly, Dr. Register talked about the momentum and some of the things that were happening here in Tennessee. I'm the beneficiary of a lot of work that people had done before I came into office, and I fully intend not just to keep that momentum going, but to pick up the pace, because I think we have such a wonderful opportunity. This morning is intended to be a discussion. I'm going to introduce Secretary Duncan in a second, but then we're hopefully very quickly going to move to what I hope is a real discussion. I have some questions for the panel, and then we're going to open up to questions from the audience. Of the challenges facing us in Tennessee, I think all the issues around education are truly the most important. When we go out and compete for jobs, it's the thing I hear the most about. When you ask me what gets me the most excited about being governor, it's the challenges facing us in education, the chance we have to make a real difference there. One of the things that excites me, quite frankly, is that in today's world where Washington seems to be incredibly divided on every issue, I don't have to talk long on that for you to know exactly what I mean. Republicans and Democrats can barely get along on anything. There's one thing that in my experience as a governor, there's actually quite a bit of consensus on, and that is the person who's our honored guest here today. Even when the National Governors Association gets together, we tend to break down on issues revolving what to do about the debt ceiling and how we should address spending issues. But there is incredible consensus for Republicans and Democrats that Arne Duncan has taken a great approach to education in Tennessee. Everybody appreciates the outcomes focus he has. Everyone appreciates his emphasis that every child can learn. And everyone appreciates the fact that he truly, truly does want to have an ongoing dialogue and relationship with the governor. So it is a privilege for me, and I mean this. Arne Duncan I haven't been exposed to a whole lot of secretaries of education other than Governor, Senator, Secretary Alexander, but in my book, Secretary Duncan does an outstanding job, and we are very, very fortunate as a country to have him in this position. Arne Duncan.
For your leadership. I'm thrilled to be here in Nashville. I'm thrilled to be out of Washington. I might stay for a while. Hang out with some people actually get some good work done. But actually, if you may not know, I have deep roots here. My grandfather raised my dad here. My dad grew up here his entire life. Went to Vanderbilt University. And my grandfather passed away a few years ago, but I came down here many, many times to spend time with him. He was a big influence in my life. So it's great to have the chance, the opportunity to come back here. I couldn't be more proud of the collective commitment to transforming education than I am here in Tennessee. And the investments we've made, Race to the Top and other things, those are not gifts. Those were investments because we believed in the passion and the commitment of everybody working together. And I think the states that can help drive the country where we need to go in terms of a strong economy, there's no state that has a greater opportunity to do that and to be a national leader than Tennessee. And Tennessee, if you look at sort of the absolute scores today, the NAEP results, the PISA results, there's a lot of hard work to do. We're not there yet, but there's a recognition, there's a commitment, there's a sense of courage here that we find absolutely remarkable. And our goal, frankly, is just to be a good partner. The good ideas in education are never going to come from me. They're never going to come from Washington. They're always going to come from the local level. We want to do a much better job of listening. We want to do a much better job of supporting, learning from, and helping build the capacity of states to do this great work. And so the more this is not the governor's initiative or the state superintendent's initiative, but parents and teachers, and most importantly, students themselves, the business community, unions, the philanthropic community, the entire state has to rally behind this effort. And when I visit states, I always look at, there's all kinds of stats my team gives me, but I always look at how many 9th graders the state has, how many 12th graders the state has. This is not a perfect measurement of dropout rates, but when you look at this state has about 16,000 less 12th graders than 9th graders. And so we know in today's economy, how many good jobs are there out there for someone without a high school diploma? Basically none. So it's every single year this state is losing about 16,000 young people. And they're not all going to the MBA early. They're not all going to Google or Microsoft. Bill Gates isn't coming here saying, give me your high school dropout. We have to educate our way to a stronger economy. We have to have all of our students graduate from high school, prepared to do something in education beyond that. 4-year universities, 2-year community colleges, trade, technical, vocational training, whatever it might be. So my challenge to you and my hope is that Tennessee can be the fastest improving state in the country. And there are lots of reasons why I think that's possible. It might not be the highest performing state tomorrow, but if you can be the fastest improving state in the country, then you give me, you give the entire nation reason to be very, very hopeful. And whatever we can do to be a partner, please push us hard to do that. And finally to the staff here, I know school starts tomorrow, so it's a tough day to do something like this. We ask the staff here to please stand, and the principal and administration, just thank them for all their hard work. We'll try not to be too disruptive today and get back to kids at some point. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to jump into it real quick. Most of you know our panel, but just to make certain, Kevin Huffman is the new Commissioner of Education. Came here from Washington, D.C., I guess 4 or 5 months ago and has hit the ground running. And his commitment to the idea that every child can learn and that there are no excuses is what made me hire him, and I haven't regretted that for a moment since. Gera Summerford is the president of the Tennessee Education Association. We don't always agree on everything, but I have no doubts at all about her heart and her commitment to bettering education in Tennessee, and she's actually been incredible to work with. Chris Barbic has actually been in Tennessee for 2 weeks now. Came to us from Houston. Here's the bottom line, Chris. He started a group of charter schools in Houston. I think there's 8, is that right? 10, excuse me, and I think for 11 straight years, every child who graduated went to a 4-year college. Every child. Okay, so think about that for a second. He's so famous, and my daughter is getting married to a guy from Houston. I was down there for a reception for her, and people kept walking up to me, and I'd expect to walk up and they'd say, "Are you?" And I think they were going to say, "Are you the governor of Tennessee?" or "Are you the bride's father?" And everyone said, "Are you the guy that stole Chris Barbic?" That's a true story. So we're glad here. Still Senator Jamie Woodson, not an active senator, but we're so grateful for the role she's played. Jamie, as you know, has been a leader in education in Tennessee for a long time. Is now the executive director of SCORE and has taken up that mantle, I guess, in a different way than she was. But we're thrilled for her understanding of the history. She was part of the race to the top team and helped us get to where we are. So let me start with the first question. I'm going to go in reverse order. Jamie, we have a lot of momentum around education in Tennessee right now. What is the key thing in your mind, in short response, for keeping that going? What's the biggest challenge facing us for keeping that going in Tennessee?
I think, well, first I want to certainly welcome Secretary Duncan. We're thrilled that he's here, but I will steal his answer. I think that our job and the biggest challenge we face is keeping the momentum going. Tennessee, in many ways, over the last few years, we have taken a very serious look at making sure that students are prepared. We have a very specific plan to get that done. And what makes Tennessee unique and different is that, in many ways, the role that I played with SCORE, we are a collective voice of the policymakers, the teachers, the parents, the business community, and I think the biggest challenge for us is ensuring that we stay the course and keep our foot on the gas for these important reforms.
Yes.
I think we're at this critical point now where we've created a great policy environment. We've generated a lot of excitement about education, but we haven't actually, I don't think yet, operationalized it in classrooms every day. So I think the key now is to take what's happening and really start to make sure that on the ground, in classrooms and in schools, that we're taking advantage of this great opportunity. And I think the key to that is people. It's great leadership, it's great principals, it's great teachers, and making sure that we have pipelines to get great people in the classroom, and great people in the schools, and great people into positions of leadership, and then we're keeping the great people who are already there. Because it's going to be the people that are going to make the difference between the policy environment and actually turning into results for kids.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to borrow the Secretary's words, investment. I think that that's a key word for us to keep in mind, because when we look at improving education, we improving opportunities for children in the future in our state. We need to keep in mind that the money that we spend, whether it comes from federal dollars or local tax dollars, the money we spend on children and on schools, improving our public education system, is an investment in our future. And it's critical that we keep in mind that money is well spent, it's well used. We need to have all people at the table making decisions of how that money will be used. And it's critical that we invest in our profession, our professional lives of teachers, and help them to continue to improve and grow as they work through their professional lives. It's all about the investment and the returns that we will see when we all work together towards those goals.
I'd say maintaining our focus on student achievement goals and on growth in student achievement, and not getting distracted by the many other things that we might measure. At the end of the day, our job is to make sure that kids are learning more this year than they learned last year. And that 5 years from now, our kids are learning a lot more than they're learning right now. So we have to continue to use data to drive our decisions and make sure that we're maintaining our focus on student achievement. And in doing that, the Secretary said that he's aware that decisions in Washington are not what drive the results. Well, decisions that are made here are what drive the results, either here, meaning in Nashville. We have to ensure that as a state agency that we understand where the work is being done. It's being done in classrooms and schools across the state. We have to do everything we can to build an agency that supports classrooms and schools and doesn't make the mistake of thinking that somehow the work we do in our office tower is the key work.
Two quick ones, Governor. For me, the biggest thing is courage. There's a reason why education has been so slow to change in so many places. I think there's been a lack of courage, a lack of willingness to challenge the status quo. I think this state is showing tremendous courage, raising standards, doing things that are very tough politically, but are the right thing for children. But that courage starts to wane, and I become less hopeful. The second one is just a willingness to learn. And you guys are trying to do some amazing things, and you're not going to do it perfectly. You're going to make some mistakes, and willingness to make mid-course corrections and to work together, and not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I was just looking, you recruited some amazing talent here at this table. Include yourself, we've got a lot of new players, and they're going to do great work, but they're going to make some mistakes. And we've got to be willing to accept that, learn, and continue to get better. If we are constantly improving, then you have a chance to do something with it.
All right, a little harder question. I'm going to let anybody who wants to respond to this one. New teacher evaluation process we're undertaking here. And you referenced Bill Gates earlier. I've heard Bill Gates say that's kind of the holy grail of education, is getting an evaluation process that really works. Anybody want to comment on either the process or what we ultimately need to do there? Any comments at all on teacher evaluation? Go ahead.
I'll start. There's a lot of anxiety out there right now among teachers, and I'm thinking about you all and tomorrow. I don't know how you can sit in that seat knowing what you have ahead of you tomorrow, because after 30 years in the classroom, I know that every year is an exciting time when we open up the school year. There's so much opportunity and hope, and no matter how many times we've done it, it's a great positive time of the year. But we've got to keep in mind that teachers have a lot of concern and anxiety about the uncertainties that are still in our new evaluation system. And it's important that we recognize that and that we provide support and guidance, and keep in mind that the ultimate goal is to improve instruction, improve teaching and learning. And so as long as we keep our eye on that goal, and we recognize that teachers are going to need a lot of support, a lot of clearly defined expectations. I mean, we want to improve. That's what we come to school every day for, is to try to do our best job. But we want to know what's expected of us, and we want clear understanding and goals in mind so that we can all work together towards those goals.
I completely agree with Gera and think that's a great jumping off point. For me, 3 exciting things about the teacher evaluation system. One is just the ability to actually provide feedback to teachers in real time. So when we field tested the evaluation last year and field tested the observation rubric that happened that we're going to be using across the state, the results were really positive from teachers and from principals. People felt really good about the fact that in the moment they were getting written feedback and verbal feedback from principals. And I'm really hopeful that this is going to help give people feedback that helps them improve, because that's what teachers want. And I think it can be a really important collaborative tool. The second piece, I think, is it will help us identify best practices. I don't see a continuous improvement loop unless we can identify the people who are doing the best job. And so for us to be able to identify the teachers who are really hitting it out of the park and go and spend time with them and understand what is it that they're doing and feed that back into our recruitment, into our training, into our professional development, that's the engine that's actually going to create the continuous improvement loop that we need. And the third piece is I think there is just a commitment to studying and getting better at this every single year. There's a lot of anxiety this year, and I think we're going to do our best, and we'll probably make a few mistakes along the way. There's a huge commitment to analyzing what we do well, analyzing what doesn't work as well, changing the things that don't work well, and continuing to make this process better. So I'm very hopeful about this process.
Anybody else? Okay, let me ask this, and by the way, we're going to go to questions from the audience next, so if you have one, and we'll have a couple people with mics on both sides. If you stand in my shoes, I've been looking at every governor for the last 100 years has said, I'm going to be the education governor, and I'm going to fix education in Tennessee. And yet, we still see our results. We're 40-something, and we have, like you said, we're multiple thousand dropouts. We had 15% of our students that were rated college ready by the ACT test, and all in English, reading, math, and science. So we obviously still have a ways to go. Well, where's the disconnect between the governor who stands up and says at the podium, we're going to be great at education, and then producing results?
I'll take that one.
I'll take notes.
And I wouldn't say this if I didn't mean it. I just appreciate your courage on this. The difference to me is very simple. Lots of politicians talk the talk. Very few of them walk the walk. And I think people are going to watch you and watch me and watch others. Do we talk or do we take action? And what you and more governors are doing, but frankly not enough, are stepping up and actually walking the walk, making the tough calls, providing the leadership to really drive this. And so to me, those words are so often empty, and that's why our country is not where it needs to be educationally. But my goal is to make every single governor, Republican, Democrat, I could care less, have every single governor today be the best education governor there's ever seen. And so I want to do everything I can to help you do that, but I think to ask the public to hold both you and me accountable for us not just talking, but actually doing the things that make a difference in the lives of children.
Anybody else want to jump in?
I think I might just jump in just to say that your vision is clear. Your leadership team is, I would argue, the best in the country. And as a state, we've all contributed to a very specific plan for progress, and that's built on a foundation of very high standards and a map to get there. Now it's the effort of it. So I think us all staying engaged in that foundation we really built with all of the people in this room participating in who we all represent, our teachers who are here today, the education administration that's helping refine their work and provide that meaningful feedback on the evaluation. And so I would say work the plan, and we've got the greatest governor in the country to make sure that gets done.
Not sure about that, but I'll take it. Okay.